Hey, Phantomaniacs! Welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I said from the start this is going to be a learning process for me, figuring out the best ways to shoot, the best lighting, things like that. So I am trying something a little different today. Maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll be worse, but we will find out together. I am super excited about the next 2 days. So excited that I do something that I don't do a whole lot, and that's I went back and did a little refreshing on the original ThunderCats episode to feature Mandora The Evil Chaser. So it's fresh in my head what she looks like, what the electrocharger, which we'll be reviewing tomorrow, looks like, and just their place in ThunderCats lore. So I'm stoked about these. This set is something, and I am reviewing them individually because they were sold that way, which I don't always do, but that's just how I wanted to do this one. But this is, since the beginning of Super 7's ThunderCats line, this is a figure I've wanted. And, you know, when I was a kid, it was just like, oh, she's a cool, like, outer space cop, and I like that. I think it's neat. But then as time went on, I realized she's very much like Judge Dredd, especially when you put the electrocharger into the picture. So now it's a judge on Third Earth. Like, it's an awesome concept, and I'm a big fan of the character design. So let's take a look. That beautiful Super 7 Ultimates packaging just looks great. And I can already tell I'm going to have to work on my light positioning a little bit, but that's okay. Love the embossed ThunderCats logo on the front. The back, one of the most iconic logos of all time. And then inside, Mandora and all of her various pieces of gear. And again, I say this all the time. I don't really look too closely at these things. Like, I knew I wanted this character. It did not matter what she came with. It's not like if she didn't have the boomerang deal, I was going to be like, forget it, I'm not buying it. So I didn't really look too closely at what was included when I pre-ordered, which, by the way, this is from BigBadToyStore.com, who have lately been getting their Super 7 stuff before Super 7. So I've kind of switched over to ordering from them. So looks great. Back of the box, we've got a little bio. The no-nonsense Mandora is an evil chaser first class and member of the Interplanetary Control Force. She patrols space with her vehicle, the electrocharger, relentlessly tracking and capturing dangerous criminals. Lion-O earned Mandora's respect when he helped her capture 3 escaped prisoners, after which she became an ally of the ThunderCats. Skilled in the use of high-tech weapons like the enzyme catalyzer and the electronic boomerang, Mandora is also an ace pilot. So seen right there, the enzyme catalyzer, which is, of course, just soap. And then the 3 prisoners that were in the episode I watched last night also would make great figures from Super 7. So I appreciate the fact that they sold her separately from the electrocharger, because a lot of people might absolutely want the character and just maybe the electrocharger's not in the budget. So if they had paired those two things together, then people who really dug Mandora might have been left out. So I'm cool with the fact that they were separate, and why not? All right, man, both those portraits look so good. This looks great. Let's get everything out of that plastic tray, which I talk a lot about how much I hate these plastic trays, and I do, although I will say I have yet to experience a Super 7. Ooh, man. I have yet to experience a Super 7 item that has been warped. No, that's not true. Chitara's bow staff. Yeah, so these have warped some Super 7 items as well. Never mind. Forget I was even going to say that. But the packaging is such a critical part of the presentation of a Super 7 Ultimate that I don't know that I really would want to see them lose the plastic tray. I don't know if I'd have as much enthusiasm for that with them as I have had for Hasbro getting rid of it. It's a tough call, because I get it. Like, that Super 7 package, when you open that box up and get that first glimpse of all of this stuff, it's exciting, and the box is classy. It looks great. So there's a conversation to be had there, I think. All right, let's sweep all of these accessories to the side and take a look at Mandora herself. And this is where the lighting... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to switch back on my overhead lights. I was trying to do it without the overhead lights because I was feeling like, well, one, it puts a glare on the screen I'm looking at, so it's harder for me to see. But I don't like this. So, oh, interesting. This is actually a soft piece covering her torso. So we've got sort of a standard ball joint at the top of the torso. But because that piece is soft, the wire that was holding the figure in place has left a dent. I don't like that. Hopefully that'll kind of come out. But that could have been planned a little bit better. Design-wise, the character looks fantastic. The pinks, this pink, you don't often see that sort of salmon-y pink on an action figure. I dig it. The neutral portrait, the default, looks great. Captured that jaw, that almost RoboCop-esque faceplate piece. The helmet with the two whatever's going on up here. And then, of course, her signature top knot. Got a little dent in the top here. Well, no, what is that? Yeah, there's like a dent in the top of the head sculpt. Not great, but also just kind of in front of my eyes. I don't really see it. Articulation-wise, standard ultimate articulation, which is, for my money, my favorite articulation in the business because it preserves the aesthetics and the profile of the figure and gives me as much articulation as I personally need. Got the detail on the belt. Got the belt buckle that's kind of the Saturn-looking deal. Got that holster for the boomerang. Hip joints, standard Super 7. Everything's moving really nicely. Nothing's stuck at all. All of the joints are moving just as well as you'd want them to. And then, of course, the swivel with the single bend knees. Not a very deep bend on those knees. I hope that's not going to be an issue when it comes down to having her interact with the electrocharger. And, of course, the ankles are standard modern ankles. Figure looks great. Look at the yellow line going across the visor. Looks really nice. More on that in a minute. And then the weird sort of cape shirt thing she's got under the shoulder pads that is a separate piece. Isn't that interesting? Very well done. Oh, and she's even got the one shoulder. You can see her because her jumpsuit is like a one sleeve type deal. So she's got that open shoulder. 80s design, 80s fashion, you guys. 80s fashion was great. So this figure looks absolutely awesome. I am very, very happy with how she is going to look on the shelf. Did a great job. Look at the, they've got the cuts in the back of her shoulder pads. So they're, when you put the arms forward, it can pull a little bit. So it's not interfering with the articulation. I'm good with that. I think that was a good decision because you can't get rid of this. I say shoulder pads. It's really more of like a little capelet type deal. I think that was the best way to handle that. All right, let's take a look at the accessories included. Oh, well, wait. First, take a look at how she lines up with Lion-O. She is just a tad shorter than Lion-O, but from watching the cartoon last night, she was a pretty tall lady. So it looks like, scale-wise, looks good to me. All right, let's take a look now at the alternate portraits. You know, it would be nice if you could swap the visors with the heads. What is even the difference? Oh, okay. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. Okay, so this is the neutral one with the top knot, just sort of the ponytail, just sort of hanging down. And then this one is for when she's on the bike in motion, or the electrocharger rather. It would be nice if this swiveled. I'm not going to try it too much. No, it doesn't. But yeah, a little motion going on there. And then finally, the serious face. Look at the gritted teeth with the crosshairs in the visor. This is the portrait. I really wish you could swap the jaws out with the helmets. That would have been a nice feature. But this is the one that's going on for sure on the display, because that's great. You have a variety of hands. We've got kind of some grabby, grapply action hands. We've got a nice pointing finger. Always like having the pointing finger. I've got C-grips. With side-to-side pivots. Got a trigger finger. And then another sort of grapply looking hand. What is the difference between this one? Oh, weird. Wait a minute. Now this has gotten me before. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay. So here, these grapply hands have the side-to-side pivot, and this grapply hand has the up and down pivot. I'm sure there are very good reasons for those being the way they are. And then you've got a nice thumbs up. I like the thumbs up also. Here we've got the, oh gosh, what did they call it? Electro boomerang. Yeah, electronic boomerang. Boy, that should have been easier to remember. Looks great, great sculpt. Even the lines right here on the sides are painted on. Very cool. And that goes in the holster. And that's, believe it or not, that's how it looks. We did not yet have Batarang technology where it occurred to anybody that, hey, maybe that thing should just fold in half. Well, no, because the 66 Batarang folded in half. So really, this thing, the designers, because this is on the show, this is not on Super 7, because this is how it is. Whoever designed this character should have given her a nice collapsing boomerang. Anyway, it looks great. And then, of course, you've got the electronic boomerang in motion, sculpted or molded in a nice translucent plastic. That looks awesome. And communication device. You can see all of the keys are individually sculpted. The screen is a nice flat gray. Looks good. And then the back, just plain. Another little doodad. I'm sure somebody in the comments can tell me exactly what this is. It might be a remote for the electrocharger. But it looks great. I dig it. And then finally, I believe an ID badge. Because if you can see, there is a picture of Mandora in there. And then on the back, is this just straight up her wallet? because that's the that matches what's on her belt buckle. I believe it's the sigil of the authority that employs her. And then finally, we got a pair of handcuffs. I don't know how useful these are going to be because they don't appear to actually, yeah, they're not hinged. They don't open and close. So this is a deal where you're going to have to take off the hands of whoever you want these on, and they're very small. So like that, well, yeah, it would fit. If I popped Lionel's hand off, it would go right at the top of where that joint is. So it would work. These are not going to be very versatile across the ThunderCats line, but you can put them on sort of the standard size figures, I guess. And of course, that's an actual chain, actual metal link chain. Love that. So there it is. I'm not going to try and swap any of the heads. Well, why not? I feel like I should. Nope. I'm going to heat that up before I even try to swap the heads. But that, I mean, the neutral head with the ponytail just hanging down, or top knot, whatever, is great. I am so happy to have this figure. It was one of my most anticipated releases going into the year. I'm glad it came out so close to the beginning of the year. I think Super 7 did a fantastic job with this, and I cannot wait to open up that electrocharger for me right now, for you guys tomorrow. So be sure to come back. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things, and remember, stay out of trouble. Yeah, I know.
Smash that like button if you like needless things.